Brahmacharya is a loaded word, and not everyone wants to practice Brahmacharya. But what if we reframed the question? Do you want to achieve your goals? Do you want uninterrupted focus? Do you want to be the best version of yourself? If the answer to any of these is yes, then a path of intelligent self-control is absolutely essential. And Brahmacharya is this path. Bhagwan gives 5 different techniques to be able to control our mind. One of the beauties of Hinduism is that we have such a range of practical techniques that we can apply in any given situation. This is not just a way to overcome temptation, but a way to overcome fear itself. FEAR is simply false emotions appearing real. I'm often asked, can spirituality give us material success? And if so, what is the best technique to get not just spiritual growth, but material growth as well? One of the most powerful and also one of the least understood is Brahmacharya. Is Brahmacharya only celibacy, or is it more? Is Brahmacharya just for men, or is it for women as well? Is Brahmacharya only for students, or can it be applied in the rest of our lives? And most importantly, how do we practically practice Brahmacharya when we are in the grip of temptation? These are some of the questions that we'll be exploring in the next 3 videos. In our Sanatan culture, we have long understood the importance of Brahmacharya. And Brahmacharya is not just pure celibacy as we understand it today, but it is the preservation of our life energy and the intelligent utilization of that energy to achieve our goals. And so, it's not just simply something for young men, but for anyone with any goal, anywhere. Brahmacharya is a tool that concentrates our capabilities and allows it to overcome any barrier. And even today, we have a growing tribe of young men and women who have recognized that sexual content is everywhere. It's on our phones, it's on our televisions, it's even in our sports. But they have recognized that engaging with this content is taking them away from their own dreams and aspirations. And so modern movements such as NoFap and semen retention are growing. Now, in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagwan speaks extensively about the importance of having a self-controlled life. But equally, Bhagwan acknowledges that this is not always easy. Yatato hyapi kaunteya purushasya vipashchitaha indriyani pramathini haranti prasabam manaha. The turbulent senses, O Arjuna, to violently carry away the mind of a wise man, though he may be striving to control it. So how do we control this mind? Now, in this chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 2, Bhagwan gives not 1, not 2, but 5 different techniques to be able to control our mind and practice Brahmacharya. The first one is to reset our mind, which is what we'll be covering today. Address the root cause of our temptation. Intelligently withdraw from the places where we are triggered. We'll discuss these 2 in the next video. And in the third video, we will discuss attaching to the higher as well as being firm in our goal. Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkhada agama payino nityas tam titikshasva bharata. The contacts of senses with objects, O Arjuna, which cause heat and cold, pleasure and pain, have a beginning and an end. They are impermanent. Endure them bravely, O Arjuna. It is interesting that in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagwan speaks of facts that modern neuroscience is only just beginning to discover. Now imagine for a moment, if you are fully satisfied, if all of your needs are met and you're happy, are you likely to be attacked by temptation? And even if you are you likely to give in? No. Temptation is something that attacks us only when we are vulnerable. And in doing so, it utilizes a part of our brain that has developed 40,000 years ago to be able to encounter threats in the wild. That part of the brain is known as the amygdala. The amygdala has been designed to identify threats and respond without even thinking. Now, 40,000 years ago when we were in the jungles, that threat could have been a tiger. At that point, the brain just wanted a pathway to get the body to run away. So without thinking, the amygdala would process the situation and run. Today, we're still using that software in our brain that was set up 40,000 years ago, even though the situation may have changed. The threats of today aren't a tiger in the wild, but situations like a big exam, an important email, an important meeting. Our brain considers these as threats because they take us out of our comfort zone and we don't know what's going to happen. And today, our response to those situations is to run away, but not physically run away. It is to run away by comforting ourselves to the level that we have become numb. That could be eating uncontrollably. That could be mindlessly scrolling Instagram. And quite often, that is consuming internet-based pornography. Because these mechanisms hijack our brain, they numb our mind away from the threat that's in front of us. So when our brain is hijacked by impulses, how do we respond? Bhagwan says, Agama payino nityas tam sitikshasva bharata. He says, recognize that these are impermanent. They have a beginning and an end, and endure them bravely. So when we endure intelligently, we activate a part of our brain that is dealing with rational thinking, that can see that these aren't threats at all, but an impulse for action. That part of our brain is called the prefrontal cortex. And one fantastic and practical method of activating that part of our brain, particularly when faced with temptation, is to loudly chant Om 3 times. This activates not only our vocal cords, but creates vibrations in our entire body that allow our brain time to rethink and reevaluate the situation. And if you can't chant Om, which sometimes you can't, then what I like to do is breathe in deeply at least 5 times. And each time I'll take 4 counts on the breath in, hold for 4 counts, and take 4 counts on the breath out. So let me demonstrate. One of the beauties of Hinduism is that we have such a range of practical techniques that we can apply in any given situation. If you are struggling with maintaining your Brahmacharya, if you are struggling with temptation, if you are struggling to focus, these simple techniques activate the prefrontal cortex and are available to us to act in today's world. My spiritual guru, Swami Chinmayananda, was renowned for his prodigious memory. As a young student, he was sent to study in Uttar Kashi in the Himalayas. His guru, Swami Tapovanam, had one condition for his student, which was the guru would not repeat any concept once it had been taught. So the young student had to listen, absorb, and understand it when the guru was teaching. Swami Chinmayananda was not only able to understand and absorb this knowledge, but for the next 40 years was able to transmit it in various cities and various countries along the globe, in addition to dozens of books that he authored. His memory was so great that if he came across someone whom he had met a few years ago only for a few minutes, he was able to recall their name, their circumstances, their family, and ask and engage with them as if they were long lost friends. When one of his students asked Swamiji what the secret of his great memory was, Swamiji looked him in the eye and said, Brahmacharya. These tools are so powerful. They allow us not just to reset our mind, but to recognize that fear isn't really fear at all. FEAR is simply false emotions appearing real. This is not just a way to overcome temptation, but a way to overcome fear itself. To live in this way is to live in Brahmacharya. It is to live the Gita way of life, the higher way of life. And if you found this technique useful, I'll be meeting you again for the next 2 videos where we will explore other simple, practical techniques from the Bhagavad Gita to maintain our Brahmacharya and achieve any goal in life. The best way to be notified of any upcoming video is to subscribe to my channel. And if you have already subscribed, why not share this with friends and family who might also find it valuable? My name is Om Dhumatkar, and I'll see you very soon with practical life lessons from the Bhagavad Gita. Namaste.